What could possibly make a melodramatic, hypersensitive pre-teen want to change his name to Pi, particularly when he has a perfectly good aquatic moniker that fits like a snug pair of trunks? Piscine Molitor, a pool the gods would have been delighted to swim in. The answer is suffering. Unfortunately for Piscine, his name sounds, well, like pissing. And for our religiously inclined, pious pre-teen hero, that's bad news. He says, "My Roman soldier stood in the schoolyard one morning when I was 12. He saw me, raised his arm, pointed and shouted, 'It's Pissing Patel!' Everyone was laughing. I walked in last, wearing my crown of thorns. Even teachers were doing it. Often the teacher wouldn't realise what he had just called me." Pi thinks the trajectory of his name from Piscine to pissing shows a strong downward movement. He's not wrong, and he's not happy. You can't blame him, but it's almost impossible to overstate how emo Piscine is. Just look at the imagery Martel uses. My Roman soldier, my crown of thorns. Anyone would think he was being fed to the lion rather than a Royal Bengal tiger. The most common reason people change their names are for marriage, divorce, or adoption. Obviously none of these apply to the prepubescent Pi, at least not on the surface, but on a deeper level they do. They all signify a change of identity. Being single is very different from being married, and being adopted very different to being an orphan. The change of name reflects the change of legal status, role and different family identity. For those not so keen, well, there's always divorce. So, how does this change of identity relate to Pi? He himself leaves more clues than the emo axe killer Raskolnikov in Crime and Punishment. I spent my last year at St. Joseph's School feeling like the persecuted Prophet Muhammad in Mecca, peace be upon him. And just as the Hijra would mark the beginning of Muslim time, I planned my escape and the beginning of a new time for me. By comparing himself to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, his name change sounds more like a religious transformation, a profound shift in identity, deeper than the shift brought about through marriage, divorce or adoption. We didn't get the point to begin with. Martel drums it home. Those we can meet changes, sometimes so profoundly that we are not the same afterwards, even unto our names. Witness Simon, who is called Peter, Matthew, also known as Levi, Nathaniel, who is also Bartholomew, Judas, not Iscariot, who took the name Thaddeus, Simeon, who went by Niger, and Saul, who became Paul. Here he is passing out during his Damascene moment. So why doesn't Piscine become pious, which is in keeping with his character? Obviously, it has something to do with the character of Pi, pun intended. First of all, Pi is better than pissing. Anything is better than pissing to a 12-year-old. And secondly, Pi is transcendental. I've got no idea what transcendental means mathematically, but I have a good idea what it means semantically because I have Google. Relating to a spiritual or non-physical realm. How Pi? Pi is also an irrational number. That means it's a real number, but the figures after the decimal point go on forever, without repeating, just like Pi, real and endless. Irrational is important for another reason. Unlike his biology teacher, Mr. Kumar, who stakes his faith in science or rationality, Pi opts against reason as a satisfying way to experience life. He opts for the religious experience. So, to answer the question, why does Piscine change his name to Pi? Because he identifies with the irrational, the transcendental, and the infinite. He's not kidding when he ordered a pizza upon arrival in Canada and gave his name as "I am who I am." He is, and so are you. Until next time, sailors, bon voyage.